Hi, welcome to the finale of For a Few More Credits More, our run of Bounty of the Week. This session, we will do something of a cold open with Quake being sent a message from her Trandoshan friend, Maris, a retired Trandoshan Unbound member, who has got in touch to say that there is a message on the Spynet from someone named Uncle, who warns Quake that Pandit Morg has been looking for Quake, looking for their friend, and picked up a clanker that used to run with them. Uncle says that Pandit Morg cannot find out what this clanker knows. It's up to Quake to stop him.
Yeah. Great. Okay.
And he gives you the coordinates of a planet that's very familiar to Quake.
Mm-hmm.
Camino.
Oh damn! I never wanted to go back there. Oh well. Anyway, yeah. Okay.
And they on Camino was as Quake I'm sure is familiar with, was destroyed by the Empire early in the days of the fall of the Republic and so on. But there are a few shattered remains of the modern Camino civilization, and the Star Destroyer bombardment never reached the old Camino civilization that was found beneath the waves, that was sunk millennia ago. And it turns out that Pandit Morg appears to have gone to a place called Durham City, once the capital of old Camino, but it was a pilgrimage and sanctuary site, and there remains sort of like the half bombarded remains of the new settlement that was built atop that, where Caminoans and other travelers would go over. So that's where Black Sun is. That's where Pandit Morg's ship is at the moment. The Persecutor.
Persecutor. Perfect. That's a perfect name. Quake does not like it. Quake likes nothing about this, obviously. But seems like we'd have to do something about that, because as Hela and Tex maybe remember, Blax was a pretty nice fellow. And I think we should go and help him out and maybe take down Pandit Morg, which is something I wanted to do for a while now, as you're all aware.
So I suppose we can hard cut to arriving on Camino if we will. Yeah.
I have one thought though, before we go into this. Is there any option that we can say that I've scrolled away some money for when I was paying for my drive boxes there? So I can offer at least a 3DO a few credits, because I don't trust you if I can't give them any credits.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that your drive, we could convert that into payment for the rest of the crew.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool.
Because I assume that you're not going to take.
No.
This is essentially whatever credits you stashed in your drive is a well, let's say a 2 credit bounty for each person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah,
that would be about that. And one other thing, can I use the Vector tank, Hela, please? Because I have been hit by a rocket launcher, run over by a tank, and taken some shots from these stormtroopers, which as a mass.
Yeah, sure. You need to recover. And Hela's not looking the best herself, but Quake is definitely worse off.
Oh wow! I mean, we all, I think we all need some recovery here, right? I mean, I can patch up.
Well, I don't think we've done the downtime part of this yet, have we?
Right.
I don't think so.
We haven't. No.
No. So you've got paid. Everyone can heal 1 for free.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make that roll instead?
Yeah, you can make that roll instead, yeah.
Give me a sec to get the roller going.
And everybody else, I trust you to have internalized enough of the, pay credits to heal 3 things to manage your own creds and heal yourself up if you wish.
I have 0 credits, so I guess I spent mine. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you spend yours on the
Fixing the
wait, you
speed
didn't.
revive,
That was last time. You just didn't take you just didn't write down the credits. I think we got 2.
Everyone got
Okay.
2 credits last time.
Okay, cool. I'll just figure it out and pretend I had a downtime and have the scene in my head.
We can do that. We can do the scene if you want. If it's just
no,
healing,
we're hard friends. No, I want to get to the
yeah.
thing. That's all good. I wasn't complaining.
Yeah.
I was just joking.
Oh well, 3-0. This is not a good start. But you get an XP.
You get an XP, or you can call for aid and have Hella fix you up, Fredio.
Yeah, that will push it to a 7 to 9 because it's not actually. Actually, I'm on 6. Yeah, so yeah, I'll ask Hella to do some repairs on me, if that's okay, Hella.
Yeah, sure. We need you in working condition for this, I think.
I mean, I'm kind of imagining that Quake brings this job as 3DO is being worked on in the back of the thing, like, like a tattoo parlor style thing, like where there's a guy with the shirt off. This is like the droid version with his carapace opened up and Hella working on the inside as Quake comes down and like, we've got a job to do. And remembering that, some of the damage that Quake has to heal came from 3DO.
Well, yeah, true. Yeah.
So, you need to roll plus tech. Yeah.
Roll plus tech. So plus 1. Roll plus 1. That's the 7.
Yay.
Yeah, if that puts it up 1 category, I heal 2. And then is it 1 cred for 1? Is it?
1 cred for 3.
Oh.
Huh?
It's 1 cred to heal 3 boxes.
Oh, okay.
We still need to throw in for the upkeep on the ship, though, don't we?
Mm-hmm. But there is already 2 in the pool.
Yeah.
So you've already put 1 credit into the pool, Anders. Is that right? You've added that up. Yeah.
Throw in another one from me.
Okay, so that's at 3.
I have also thrown in 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll throw in 1.
So
was spinning on drive track, but I guess I'll just do that on the upkeep or on the ship instead.
So yeah. Had you already added yours to the pool, Sabine?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I just
You didn't. So cool. So
just spit out of my own.
Yeah, so we're at 5 on the pool at the moment. And you have a broken cloaking device.
We also need to pay the maintenance, right?
Yeah, that's paid off now. So it's
Yeah,
down to one credit in
That's
the
what the 1 cred was for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought it was still 5.
Well, there was 1 in the pool already. Anders added 1. That was at 2, and then everybody else added 3, so it brought us to 5. I've taken off the 4 for the upkeep, and now it leaves us with 1 remaining in the pool.
How much to fix the cloaking device?
Well, you've got the problem of rare parts because it's an experimental design. So sadly, it's not cheap to refix your thing, and I think a cloaking device is quite pricey thing. So it'll probably be 3 credits total to fix a cloaking device.
Okay.
Or
I have 2
temporarily
credits left.
patched
Anybody?
in action. You know, you can use tech to repair it in the moment. Jerry rig a fix and see what happens.
But
I'm sure
like
I
to go
have
in there
something
with
lying around somewhere that could make it work for a few minutes or something.
I
Yeah,
think
take out the refresher.
I'd like it if we could go in with the cloaking device intact, actually, so they don't see us coming. That makes sense.
If you go to your old Jawa friend, he can
Dalhar probably has something. Anybody
keep holding up his fingers and being like,
yeah,
and then back and forth.
Anybody
What
got a
kind
credit
of-
left? Because I only have 2.
Well, you've got 1 left in the pool, so if you put those 2 in, that's 3 in the pool,
Oh,
and then it can be
right.
used to, yeah.
Okay, do people think that's a good way of using that credit?
I'll gladly
Going
put
in
in
with
one of
cloaking
those
device.
needed.
No,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
you
use
pull
that
one.
one from the pool. That's what it's there for. That's what it's there
Yeah,
for.
but there's just one in the pool, right?
Yeah,
And
but
we need
she's
more than
donating.
that.
Sabine's donating her remaining
Yeah,
2 credits
but
to fix the ship.
Yeah, okay.
Fix up the ship. Let's have the
Okay.
cloaking device attached. Means that we can't have grenades, but can't have everything, I guess. I just like
Nice.
grenades.
The Jawas, you slide the credits across, and thingy, what's it called? Delhar, like has a pile on the table of grenades, and then this very shiny rare component with crystals and things that you need for your ship, and he's got both of them, and he just slides the grenades off the edge of the table, and they clank to the side and pushes across the experimental thing, taking your credits, and it's like, come back when you've got more, I guess, but yes, now the ship is intact. You know where you are supposed to go. I am sort of adding images to the to Quake's Hunt as we go.
Did we figure out how to fix that lightsaber that Tax has?
Is that a thing that you
I don't know if
you
Tax
do as
has
Quake?
mentioned the lightsaber to anybody still, but she's repaired it.
Okay.
If we're talking out of character.
Okay.
Okay. I hate it when you do insert image by URL and it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, why doesn't it work? Why? Okay. So you come into we all had to just coming in through the atmosphere of Camino, rain battering down on the whole, storm flickering through the clouds, lightning coming off the edges of the bright beauty. Hella, Durham City's, like New Durham City, the sort of ruined spires of this Camino, and it was kind of like it was not, the ruins that are here, it was a minor settlement. It's why the Imperials pretty much didn't hit it too hard. It kind of got like a cursory bombing by some TIE bombers as they went past, rather than like a sustained orbital bombardment. But you can see the jutting spires coming up through the ruins, out of the waves, and the long things. Yeah, you're going to after Pandit Morg and Black Sun. People who seem to have a vendetta against you for betraying them in the past. Do you have any? Do you guys do anything before? Well, I'm asking you first. Do you make any preparations? Are you coming in straight onto the landing at New Durham and working your way through? What's the approach here?
Well, I think we should. Oh,
sorry. I have the one with the plan that I should roll for, and I think this is straight into my dark past as well.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was nudging towards, just to see if you wanted to use any of that stuff.
Thank you for the reminder, because I keep forgetting those things. I'll roll the one with the plan first. That's plus sharp. So that's a 10. So I'm holding
Nice.
2.
Holding 2.
And then dark past. Yeah, I roll first, and that's plus tech, so that's a +1. That's a 3. Oh my god.
That's a terrible plan.
This is bad.
So on a miss, you can ask a question anyway, but you are personally complicit in creating the situation you are now dealing with.
Yeah, I have to. Of course, I have to.
Did Hella let Pandit Morg know that we were coming somehow? Is that the personally involved part?
Maybe, or maybe.
I mean, it could clear her
somehow
debts
let
with the
him
Black
to
Sun
block.
and get her out from under it.
I don't think it was. I don't think it would have been intentional, but maybe she. Ooh.
Well, then I
Maybe-
think that what you did then is part of what the work you were doing for Black Sun. And depending on
Sorry?
the question I think that like the way in which you're complicit with whatever's happening here is about the
Yeah.
work you did for Black Sun before.
Yeah.
Like how you're working for Black Sun.
Because I think we've established that it was part of the slavery thing. So maybe it's connected to this, that he can now control creatures, animals, that sort of thing.
Yes, yeah. Advanced bio-restraining bolts.
Yeah.
Like a biotech restraining bolt, you know?
Yeah. Oof. Oh, that's bad. But I get to ask a question.
And I mean, you know, you were just like, well, these are a different type of technology that will, for droids with like, you know, synthetic organic parts kind of thing inside, like cyborg sort of stuff. But Pandit Morg has access to ways and means beyond your, you know, and your understanding that make that tech work in new ways, perhaps, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. What hidden lore or tech do I know that could help here?
You know that the that Durham City wasn't just a pilgrimage site; it was a xenoarchaeology site, because buried, the old Durham City is sort of like built into a mount, what was once a mountain before the tides roads in on Camino. So it is only like a few like kilometers below the surface of the water, and it's connected to the ruins of New Durham by like tunnels. But the old Durham City remains pretty much intact due to its sealed like systems and this like auto fixing kind of like auto sealing transit tunnel network. And just before, and in the old days of in the final days of the Republic, before it all fell, they were actually doing digging into sealed off areas that were in below, and they'd found a great library in there, the library of Cal Snaek, an ancient Jedi sage who was alive during the Great Sith War. So the lore that you know is that this is probably what Pandit Morg is interested in on Camino. Someone may have spent the last hour quickly going through lots of Wikipedia articles and trying to string together something, because I'm going to level with you. My major thing was that like Dathomir. Well, I like Dathomir, but I also like I've used Rancors in a bunch of Star Wars games, and I'd like to try and do something differently than Rancors. And then I was also like, there are no cities on Dathomir. Every single time I see Dathomir, there's like a Stone Age tribe village. Yeah, and I was like, well, okay, Camino. Now there's one, and plus it's clones. So yeah. Anyways, back out of the meta wars.
I like it.
I think you made the right choice. The Camino thing is gorgeous, and there are always aquatic Rancors, as I furiously go to Wikipedia and try to edit that in.
Can move in the water or on land.
There you go. Amphibious Rancors. Yeah, they're those.
Amphibious Rancors. Yeah.
Probably not called Rancors, but yeah.
The Kaminoans, they were splicing DNA.
There's a water Rancor.
Right. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, a water rancor.
Right. They're just
I invite you all
water
to make that
rancor.
portmanteau. If you take water and rancor and you put them together, what would it say?
Rancor.
No,
Just-
it may be a British. Yeah, there we go. Tags has got the joke. Yeah. Couldn't, too childish for me to say out loud. Anyways, cool. Okay, guys, let's step back into character and things again. Sorry. So yeah, Hella, that's what you know about the thing, because I think perhaps it comes up as you're talking about like the difficulties of a underwater planet, right? Of a being underwater in this sunken city, but you know, you can point out that, well, from what the expedition notes say that, you know, you've come across in your digging into old tech and archaeology and stuff, is that it's, you know, it is partially flooded, but the city itself remains like a place that air breathers could go, and as long as like nothing blows a huge hole out of the side of it, you should be okay. You may have to swim through some sections, you may have to do whatever, right? But it's not as though like the whole thing is just totally submerged. It's more kind of like you're going into I don't know, one might call it like a mining system or something like that, like a network of that, but it's just tunnels and transit systems of this ancient city. Oh God, Anders, how could you?
How could I not?
That's true. It's very true. Yeah. Anyway, and so coming in towards New Durham, Tags. What do you do
Yes.
when how are you approaching this, and what do you do when when you get a sensor ping from the city? Something has just pinged you.
Oh, interesting. Because I imagine that Tags has engaged the cloaking system as soon as we came out of hyperspace. And
You've engaged the
got
cloaking
close.
system. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
let's see a act under pressure to see if you can bring that, because you can come in very close with the cloaking system on.
That's my
right?
plan, to come in very close.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can see, you know, wind-swept, like rain-swept, sort of like open, like, and you can see that the persecutor is landed right next to what is like they call the Durham Highway. Is that what I called it? Things that you write 10 minutes ago sometimes slip entirely from your brain.
Durham City? What?
Durham City, yeah. Yes, but they have landed there. Yeah. Oh, the Durham Highway, yeah. So they've landed the heavily armed persecutor, like across the entranceway, which is, you know, quite a large kind of like this is part of like how the modern Kaminoans reconnected to the old transit system, the ancient transit system.
I love that. That
it's sort
transit,
of like a,
yeah, that's cool. I'm into it. All right,
it's like kind of you know, in like big industrial like things, you know, like you see in like the Resident Evil ones, they've got those lifts that are kind of like slanted down at an angle, like big cargo kind of lifts. It's like that going down into below the waves kind of stuff, you know. Like,
oh, that's cool. Almost like a space elevator, but it's just
yeah.
I have rolled very well. I've rolled an 11 on cloaking the beauty.
Cool. Well, the lightning strikes the ship as it comes in, you know, through this storm, and it skitters across for a second, right? But the cloaking device stays intact. You can see that the sort of you know, like black suns landed off the ship. As you go overhead, you can see a sort of few signs of their activity around there. But you know, to get anything better, you'd have to come in for a closer look. But from the moment, it seems as though they haven't seen you in the ship, you know. Repulsor lifts, no one can hear them over the storm. Yeah, your Rancor bobblehead
like
waves wildly in the buffeting wind. It's certainly not smooth, but like if anyone was to look outside, like howling wind, it's incredible how smoothly you brought it in between these sort of ruined spires. The Kaminoans who live here, by the way, mostly keep to themselves because this is one of the few remaining intact surfaces, and they don't want to draw any more attention to the. So you can see sort of like a few flickering lights, but you get the impression that they've just decided to let Black Sun do what Black Sun wants to do, because last time anybody off-world came to Kaminoa, it was not good news.
No, not at all. I don't think they're aware we're here. That's
good.
Persecutors right there. Quake, I'm gonna bring the beauty down.
Yeah. I think we need more intel before we go in about our surroundings, what we're going to do here. Because of Planet Morg is down there, I've never been to this place. I've been created on this planet, but I've never been here. I've only been to see, that's not there any longer.
Like to read a bad situation?
Yes, I want to read a bad situation, and this is a really bad situation.
Using
So,
the ship's sensors maybe to try and
yeah, that makes sense. Add dice. It's a 9.
It's a 9. What question would you like to ask me from the read a bad situation?
I guess that would be what's our best way in. I haven't checked. Let me just check this before I go with the first question that pops into my mind. But yeah, no. Yeah, what's my best way in is probably the most useful question here.
Your best way in is that main highway, the system that the Persecutor is parked nearby. The best way in would be to disable the Persecutor before landing and go in past them, basically.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
The other alternative would be you would have to park the Bright Beauty deeper into New Durham and then work your way through on foot, which would then leave you in pretty bad shape if the Persecutor took off and just did the same thing to you, essentially, right? Like stranded you here.
Yeah. I mean, we hopefully plan to make it out, so it's a good idea to take the Persecutor out of the equation as early as we can. Of course, they will know that we're coming, but I think they might anyway, because I mean, I don't trust this uncle fellow who gave me the information that they're here. I mean, the information was right, but I think I don't trust them, and I don't know. Well, I think they know we're coming, so let's bombard the Persecutor and proto-torpedo time.
They seem, like if they knew you were coming, this is tactically unsound. To all appearances. Why would you have your ship landed rather than waiting for you to come? They knew you were coming. They seem to have taken them by surprise. Yeah. But yeah, with that in mind, 3DO, do you take that as the signal to load up the proton torpedo launcher? And
yep, using my immense strength, I think you'll see me, like those scenes where they're all on sort of chains, and a gravity-fed sort of conveyor system. So sort of loading it in and then hitting the sort of comms button to tag saying, torpedo is loaded.
Nice. Well, you're gonna hit the Persecutor while it's landed, and then describe how you come out of the how you disable your cloaking device as you open fire, because you've got to disable your cloaking device, of course, to open fire, right?
Yeah,
like that's just how all systems work.
That was way more expensive to get the one that we couldn't
yeah. And describe to me what are you aiming for on the Persecutor, because you won't destroy it entirely, but you can take out like a key system here, basically.
I imagine that turning off the cloaking device for the Bright Beauty is something. It doesn't just pop into existence. It kind of comes from a fade into full color as the cloaking, we'd see first the shimmer, almost like a mirage in the distance on the desert of Ryloth, and then the bright beauty comes into focus, and immediately Tags just engages to fire the proton sci-fi, proton torpedoes, and fires. And I imagine she's going to go for the engines. She doesn't want them to get away. So that's
perfect.
Where she's trying to aim.
Well, you down on the surface around the thing, you can see a few dotted figures all wearing big ponchos, and one of them's like a Doug holding this big umbrella that keeps wind sweeping him away. And then as the umbrella flies off, he goes and then just looks forlorn, and then his eyes catch up on the flickering out of and you just see him turn around and go to the others, and then huge explosion. They all go, cinematically leaning, collapsing to diving out of the way of the explosion, and the burning. And the bright beauty is hovering above the Persecutor. As you can see, the gun turrets and the Persecutor turn around and line up for you. And Quake, your comms crackle to life on your helmet, and you hear, "The hunters come. Now we can. I look forward to it. Enjoy." And something, because this is sort of a tiered city with lots of gaps down to the water and things in between. It's not just one smooth platform kind of stuff. It's all bits of water in between gantries and stuff like that. Something slams into the bottom of the Bright Beauty, sending it reeling towards red lights and everything. And if we cut to the outside of the ship, you can see this massive, it looks like a huge tentacle with claws and teeth on the end of it, and then a pair of eyes opens atop, and you recognize a saber jowl, a massive eel big enough to swallow a starfighter whole. Did you ever serve with General Kenobi and General Skywalker, Quake?
Not precisely, no. I mean, I've known them, but I might know the Kaminoan fauna and flora.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I mean, I grew up on this planet, and what we were doing when we were younger to train was go up against the dangerous fauna.
Well, these are very dangerous fauna, and there is an image of those in the thing. So this is basically there are about a small pack of these saber jowls that have sort of risen up the the heads of the Hydra kind of thing around the platform. So below you, you've got the Persecutor the fire, and now the Bright Beauty is being boxed in by these this wildlife that's attacking you. Tags, what do you do?
Wow, we're still flying, so I think I'm gonna get that out of the way.
Wow, roll the punch it move. You are in a high stress situation.
I am. This is so stressful. So punch it is with cool, and I'm flying, so that is a +2. Did you say it was called a saber jowls?
A saber jowl. I was I knew that there would be something big and almost kaiju-ish on Kamino, but I was very happy when I looked at the image and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that is pretty dope. Good job. I'm looking at the punch it for a mixed success because I rolled an 8, and you get to hold 1. I think I want to extend the gap between me and a target.
Okay, you can extend the gap between you and a target, which means that you you weave your way it's gonna, that first hit on you is just going to shake the ship. You know, it slams off against the shield, sends you crashing down to what it was clearly like trying to basically like bash you into the side of the buildings. But you managed to, you know, pull hard, hit the repulsor lift and the repulsors and bounce off the side of the thing, just scraping across these ruins, coming around as the guns and the persecutors start to light up the sky, and you extend the gap between you and the eels. Who's in the gun turret?
I am, I think.
Okay. Do you return fire on the eels, or do you return fire at the saber towers, or do you return fire on the persecutor as the blaster cannons start to light up?
Oh well, I think I'll leave it to Tag. So maybe get the eels in the way of the persecutors thingies, and I will target the eels instead, because they are the more immediate danger. And also, I never liked these eels. They ate 11 when I was young, and I hate them. So I will target those, and that is take them down, right?
Mm-hmm.
There a difference because I'm using it on a ship? Probably not.
No. The harm is just a sort of like more fictional than directly, you know, numbers.
So 9.
So
it's 9.
You exchange harm, which means that you can take out the persecutors' cannons, you know, returning fire, but that's only after it's splashed up.
I'm targeting the eels, though.
Oh, you're targeting the eels. Sorry, I thought you said you were gonna. Yeah.
No.
I misunderstood the first sentence.
Sorry.
Okay, so no worries. And yeah, so you one of those eels comes, you know, like swooping up, and you stitch it across like it's a massive open mouth, right? And it goes roaring in pain, spiraling back into the waters, closing up the gap even more. But that does mean that the persecutors' turrets do land a hit on your ship instead, and will punch through the shields, slamming into the hull. Red lights go off, you know, sparks fly out of things, dramatic moments. And Hella, as you're looking out through one of the portholes, you see that they have once again damaged your Car-King stealth cloaking device, you know, like the little dish that sort of like projects this field across the whole thing. Like the wiring across there has been completely shredded by this. The other thing you notice is, as the keeper spends 1 hold for a death-defying stunt to be pulled off by the enemy, you see a winged creature swooping in from one of the taller spires, like plunging towards you. And if I go to Quake's Hunt, you see a figure, a familiar figure, riding atop it as it swoops in close to the hull, and then deposits its who clings on to the side of the ship without any thing. And Quake would recognize this as an air whale in George Lucas's imaginative naming structure, I guess. Something that the Kaminoans had tamed, a domesticated beast that they used to fly around. And
These
one
are
of them
fun.
one of them has basically like landed on the side of the ship and dug its like talons into the hull, marking your beautiful, pristine thing. And a Athgar the Bloody leaps off. They didn't die back on that planet when they fell off the bridge. Who knew that they would survive? They land on the hull of the ship and they begin to do something on there. They don't seem to be at all bothered by, like, as the ship twists and turns and bucks and everything, they just seem to hold on with like a steely determination, while sparks and things seem to work off the outside of the ship as they do something, and you start to lose systems within, you know. 3DO, Hella, you're currently not engaged in the systems. What do you guys do?
I'd sort of like that scene where you see me sort of walk towards a lift with an iris port to go to the thingy ship, and as I'm going up, put on a sort of a leash. Was it Empire Strikes Back where he goes up on something like that?
Yeah.
So just like that, and I think I'll turn and I'll say, sort of through an intercom panel again, you see me sort of hit the button, keep it steady, tags, I'm going the surface.
I'll do my best.
Oh yeah, you're about to do a barrel roll out of the way of, and you're like, "Whoop, no," like yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Hella, 3DO is going out. That's confronted, but if you don't do something soon, the ship is going to be whatever he's put on there. It seems to be penetrating. It seems to be slicing into the ship's closed network.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think I try to rig something that will like fire a surge back at him, like rig some countermeasures that will take out whatever thing it is.
Yeah. Fry, like reverse the charge and fry the an electromagnetic pulse that will fry his slicing equipment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're in the Star Wars tech part of the Star Trek tech part of the script. Yeah. Okay, so use tech.
I assume I'm rolling tech, but I'm not sure what move it is.
The use tech move.
No, there's a use tech move. Okay.
Yep.
I will roll with tech. That's a 6.
3DO's outside, Quakes on the turrets, and Tags is piloting the ship. I'm not seeing an obvious way for anyone to come to your aid.
I mean, maybe I could call for Tags to like
rewrite power somewhere,
whatever to
Okay.
We'll happily reroute power.
Yeah, I need more power.
Ooh, what is she shut down? She'll toggle some of the power that's going to the hyperdrives, because we're on planet. We won't need hyperdrives right now. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't imagine that the hyperdrives are holding any power right now.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not in use, are they? You know what I mean? And you're not trying to make a jump to hyperdrive. So it's like I'm turning the lights off in the room I wasn't in to begin with, basically.
Okay. Then what? Reroute power, probably.
Use life support. Support. This has an atmosphere we can breathe, and it's cool, but not that cold.
We don't need that. Don't need
it. Yeah. You reroute the power from life support. All of the lights flicker and they go like amber lighting throughout the ship. And there's like a on the outside of the ship as like it vents the internal thing, because when the life support goes down, it could quickly get thing, and it knows that it's on a planet with breathable air, so it's just kind of like open now, right? It does mean that if you crash, then this beauty may flood and immediately drop in, because it is no longer a sealed environment. So stay out of the waves, quick, Tags. Well, roll plus tech, Tags.
Are you serious? Tech?
Yeah. Well, you're calling for aid, so there is a roll involved there, right?
No, I know. I was just thinking I was being sharp, but you're right. It is tech. That's fine. It's my -1. Here we go. And we both got XP. Sorry.
Yeah. I think that is you reroute life power from life support, but this is an unreliable experimental design, right? And so there is a bug in this section, which it does vent all of the air, but the pump is pumping all of the air out. So everybody on the ship now is essentially like,
I have a rebreather. I'm not.
Well, yeah, now you have to seal it down, So everybody but Quake is on a -1 to any roll inside the ship due to this. And Hella, sadly, that's still not enough to you do it and the power surges, you get the rerouted power and you surge it back, and then there is a feedback loop, and the console that you are working on explodes back at you. And so you are going to take 2 harm.
Armor help?
Yeah, I think armor helps. Rather than the armor prevents you from, like impaling yourself on the panel behind you, but it doesn't do much for the electric shock itself. So you certainly want harm of the thing. Yeah.
Big electric shock smashed into the wall behind.
Yeah.
Oh, that was too much power.
As you stand up gasping, you're like,
yeah, I think sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. On the hull of the ship, 3DO, you hear clouds of steam come off the ship as it condenses, the condensation, and you're like, oxygen, interesting. And you stomp your way across the hull towards Afghar, who puts down what he's working on, turns around to you, and draws 2 vibro blades in each hand. And one of them, he presses a button on it, and one of them crackles with like stun electricity, basically. And he raises it in a Terracassi salute, and then crouches. What do you do?
Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Pull my pistols. Well, actually, my heavy blaster.
Yeah.
Blast him. So yeah, I mean, it's very windswept. I think my trench coat is truly flapping behind me. I've lowered my head with the sort of Stetson type hat on. Yeah, and yeah.
Nice.
Don't bring a knife.
This is very much like samurai versus cowboy kind of style fight. Yeah. As he comes, you whip it out, and he's doing that whole like samurai, as they run towards each other sort of thing. But you're not running towards him; you're just standing and firing. Yeah. I love it. I think this is still a take them down because it's he is capable of exchanging hands despite them being melee, because he is fast, and the movement of this ship doesn't seem to bother him particularly much. It's as though he seems to know exactly before like it rolls, like that it's going to go that way, and he just does exactly the right thing to kind of like use momentum and bounce him across it.
Let's see if we can do him over then. 2d6, and I'm adding 3 to the roll.
God, you are tough.
And that's a good roll of 8 going to 11.
8 going into 11. Wow. So choose your extra effect.
I wouldn't mind keeping him at a distance, I think.
Yeah.
Is result? Sorry, it's gone a bit slow for some completely unknown reason. Google Sheets.
That's just Norwegian internet.
Don't tell me about that. Yeah. I mean, I can't see the move actually. I'm just getting a very.
So there is you gain the advantage, take +1 forward. You inflict terrible harm, +1 harm. You suffer less harm, -1 harm, or you force them where you want them.
Can I force him where I want him, which is away from that? Although he's really engaged in melee, isn't he? Here, I'll take less harm.
But you could force him where you want them in terms of like you could drive him far enough away from it that you'd have an opportunity to get rid of that device, and
yeah, let's do that. So yeah,
allow the rest of the crew to get control over their systems again.
Yeah, I'm peppering him with shot, to pull him sort of into me, but yeah, away from, we'll sort of spin round basically, and I could be on his spot. So yeah, I think he keeps sort of getting close, and the blasts keep pushing him back, but he is getting closer and closer.
So you exchange harm, right? So that he is going to do let's call it a 2 harm stunning move as he hits you with that electric baton as he goes past. Let's call it an electric baton. He's got a vibro sword in one hand and a stun baton in the other, and the stun baton is essentially like iron damage to you. So he will do 2 harm, but one thing that it will also do is temporarily disable one of your systems. So one of your body parts, maybe your energy blast, I think, no longer has enough power drawn for it. So for the, temporarily not got enough power to do that. You've just got your heavy blaster pistol.
That sounds good. I'm just firing up another laptop.
To try and get it. Yeah. And he does that samurai past you, like that sing, like as he goes past, and as you stagger around, you just turn your, just rotate your arm like 180 degrees back behind you without even looking, and catch him as he like fires, and he takes that bullet, that blaster bolt, across like the shoulders, and then slides across the hull away from the stuff. And as he springs back up to his feet, you're just like stepping backwards towards that thing, keeping him at a distance. Like every time he tries to come towards you, a blaster bolt just erupts, and you're not even looking, right? Like you're just yeah.
I think over comms, I'll say to the rest of them, he is temporarily disabled. This is your chance.
Tags. You avoided the saber jowls. Quake's managed to drive them back.
Okay.
They're still sort of like, the rest of them have plunged under the water, and we can see them like racing around to come out of another opening to attack you. But for now, they're off your back. But the persecutor is still firing at you. Are you going to try and avoid it?
Yeah, this is a big ship, and the beauty is not made for going head to head with that kind of thing. So yeah, got to get out of the way. Do I need to punch it again?
Well, no, because you have the puncher. I think it's an act under pressure to avoid the damage, and you can use the punch it to negate incoming harm, or not even roll and just say I spend that 1 hold to
All right.
Because you got a mixed result, right? So you have 2 holds, 1 hold left, I think. Yeah.
Is that true on punch it? It's
2 hold on a mixed
hold
success,
2.
and I
You're
hold
right.
1.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and I've already spent mine to get Athgar the Bloody on board in a.
So I can ignore all harm from an incoming attack. I think if I ignore all harm from an incoming attack, can I make an attack on the persecutor?
Yes, you can do. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to do that then, because we need to disable this ship. Otherwise, it's going to keep firing on me. So I would like to try to take them down. Oh my! So that's rolling plus tough, and I'm flying. So
there's I imagine this is like there's no barrel rolls are off the table, so now it's like the equivalent of a handbrake turn, right? As it whips around, like kind of like drifts out, and 3DO has to like crunch into the ship with one hand as it goes around, and Athgar the Bloody just sort of like seems to slide off one side of the ship, and then he just sort of loops back around again, like kind of coming up off this spire like with unnatural grace.
I kind of love and hate him at the same time. Here we go. Oh my. Quake. Quake, you're gonna have to dial in. So I think I need Quake's help.
Yeah, I'll help. Because I think the persecutor is shooting, and I'm not the gun turret, so I'm shooting back. So you can finish off getting your attack. I will use 8 plus tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see how that goes. Yeah, it's an 8. So yeah, works.
Mixed success.
To a mixed success, which means we're going to be trading harm, and I will spend that hold to avoid the harm. That's it. No choices for me. Sorry.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah, you can avoid the harm from that. Yeah, perfect. You take out the persecutor's heavy turret, and you can now there's just scattered blaster fire from a few thugs on the surface coming back up at you, like the ones who you can see most of them are broken. the persecutor itself is disabled entirely. That just leaves these saber jowls that have suddenly burst back out again of the you know, like as you go around, you do your successful run and like woohoo. Oh wait, everyone should be on a -1 anyways. So Quake would be on a
7. Would have been a 7 to
Okay.
help me out.
I'm
That
not
would have
on
worked.
-1 though.
Oh, you're not
I
because you
had
got
a
the
rock.
respirator. Yeah. And yeah, so you take out the persecutor. It is done. The saber jowls reach out, and that is when Askar the Bloody's device sends out a burst throughout the ship, and you know, electricity plays across all of the systems, like low level, and you start to just instantly lose power tags. And you are now dropping towards the waves and the this big mouth of this massive saber jowl beneath you. That's, you know, it could swallow a starfighter hull, not the Bright Beauty, but it looks like it's about to take a huge chunk out of that cockpit as it dips down towards the waves.
Oh,
Shoot it?
crap.
Hella,
Can I
well,
shoot it?
you've lost power, sadly. Hella, do you think you can try and restore power?
I sure as hell am going to try. Yeah, I cark this carking piece of cark ship, cark. And she's running to the engines, and she's pulling cables out of the walls and plugging them in somewhere else, and tearing things apart in order to get them working again.
Cool. Roll me use tech again to temporarily repair something.
Yeah. Ooh, an 11. No
Nice.
XP, but I'll take it.
No glitch either, which is good. Yeah. Power systems come on just in time for you to stop. Like 3DO, you're sliding off. You know, everything suddenly tips and going, and Askar takes that as an opportunity to like leap, you know, using this thing, and he's just coming straight down towards you. And then suddenly the ship like vroom, back up again. What now?
So he's damaged and I'm damaged. So yeah, I'll take
Mhm.
another shot at him.
Okay, we'll take them down.
Uh,
Oh, it's plus
6,
3 though, isn't it?
9. Yeah.
9. Yeah, I was like, oh no, and then I was like, wait, you can barely fail. There are like 3 dice rolls that you can fail, basically out of a total combination. So yeah, you do a 9. You exchange harm again.
2
This
and 2,
time,
is it?
2 and 2. But this time, with his, he is going to. Yeah, 2 and 2. But what he's going to do with his shock is it leaves you slower and like stunned. You are now on -1 to any rolls until you get a moment to catch yourself.
Okay, but this is stun damage, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean it's but you're a robot, so stun damage is kind of like fraying your systems, you know.
Yeah. So my armor doesn't count.
Your armor does count, but it's not stun damage in the sense of like it won't wear off at the end of the scene, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe if it was like an ion cannon or something, I would have it like not really, your armor not really help you. But since he's actually smacking you with something, it's like, you know, mitigating half of the damage kind of stuff. But yeah, and you're coming in tags. You're gonna have to, well, Quake, the remaining saber jowls.
Yeah. I would like to shoot them.
Nice. I'm
if I
imagining
may.
tags weaving the Bright Beauty between these 2 huge like tentacles of the bodies of the eels, you know, through the gaps, and then Quake's turret like lighting up in between them.
Yeah, they're really sensitive around their gills, right? I remember that now. maybe it will help. See how that goes. Yeah, it's a 9.
It's a 9. Okay. You exchange ham with them, with the ship, and you. So that it is going to. They're going to take out your. They're going to damage your sublight engines, as it basically, like, one of them does grab onto the back and it bites down hard on one of the nacelles, right? You know, sending out sparks and everything. But then you stitch up the its gills, as you just done with the other one, and they are all, you know, they go writhing back into the ocean, letting out a big howl. The one that's crunched into your nacelles, like its teeth stay on, embedded, as like the body twitches and spasms, and it drags the bright beauty in the air. But you manage to drive it off. Tags, you're coming in hard though with that engine blowing out.
Yeah. I will try to use the wind to my advantage and what power we have, that centrifugal force, to guide us despite the engine going out. Maybe I have to light speed skip. I've heard that's a thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it would be incredibly dangerous to punch hyperdrive in this enclosed space.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to get away. So I think I'm just going to try to land. Yeah, that feels like a pretty dangerous thing that I might be capable of.
Yeah.
Guys, hold on to something.
Can you fly to the ramp, maybe? Because if we're landing, we might just land where we're going anyway. If that's possible.
The land?
The ramp.
The highway.
The ramp that's going.
Oh,
the highway.
Sure.
That's going
Yeah.
down.
Could I crash land on the highway?
Yeah, it's definitely. I like the idea of this. You know, it's just about big enough to fit the beauty in. You know, like, which is a big open thing, right? It'd be awkward to fly it back out again, but you can certainly land in there. It was too small for the Persecutor to get in, because the Persecutor's a bigger ship than you are. But yeah.
Sounds
so
dangerous and fun.
I think this is an act under pressure rather than just a thing, because it's already started dealing with the final consequences of the whole thing as you go in.
Yeah, that feels okay to me. And I think Tags mutters to herself, I kind of figured this was a one-way trip anyway.
And you're rolling with a -1 as well.
Oh, doesn't matter.
Is
That's
that without
5.
any? You got no cool?
It
was +2, wasn't it? Yeah,
and it should have been a +1 because of the not being able to breathe well. That is some bad rolling.
Well, then that's you are going to come down. It's just going to be more of a crash than a controlled thing.
Okay.
Everybody's going to take 2 harm.
2 harm. Yeah, that feels about right.
Armor counts.
Armor counts.
I think armor helps. Okay, cool.
And 3DO, your Athgar, you know, you plug him after he's done his one thing, and he sort of staggers, and he's like wounded, and he drops one of his vibro sword, and he just holds on to that, and he's like about to come leap at you, and suddenly he stops and turns, and you both see like the bright beauty is just suddenly crashing over the flaming ruins of the Persecutor down into the thing, and there is just an god awful. And as he slams into the surface of the ramp, the shock just sends Athgar flying off down into the chaos of it all. And thank God that you tethered yourself in, right?
Exactly. Tether's always a move.
And I think that we will then we will cut as we see the bright beauty. And yeah, there's just a sort of smoke. We do the aerial shot of this sort of landing pad highway area, and you've just got the smoking ruins of the Persecutor. Black Sun guys running away from this big saber jowl that's been driven mad by pain from Quake's blaster, as one of them, with his big massive mouth, just swallows a dug hole and rips him up into the air. but you have made it down into the sort of flickering, dark subterranean levels of Old Durham. And we'll cut there for our first break. The beauty. Everything comes to a sickening halt. The metal grinds, the smoke clears. There is a shattered helmet of Akar the Bloody, crushed against the wall of this highway and the thing, but no sign of the man himself.
Maybe we're lucky and I got eaten by an eel.
The Black Sun forces upstairs don't seem to be interested. They are too busy dealing with these wild razor jowls that are attacking them above. And the depths of New Durham, of Old Durham, lie ahead of you. Another reason I wanted to say that on Camino was because I watched Deep Blue Sea again the other week, and I want you to kind of imagine, you know, the typical sort of submerged sea quest style like facility with lots of like, despite being sealed and keeping like, you know, not having like a consistent water levels and stuff where it's all flooded and rising up from the lowest point, that, you know, as you work your way through the city, there might be like flooded areas where it's knee-high water, other areas where you might have to swim through, like, you know, it's all kind of like fantasy style flooded facility rather than real life flooded facility where it would mostly just be like, well, we can't breathe under here and it's terrible. So yeah. So yeah, you hauling your stuff out and moving further in. Quake, there is a ping on your helmet, leading blocks ID, basically, like pings out.
Okay.
So you do know you have a rough direction to go in.
Okay, so is that something I did, or is that something that's just a surprise to me that it's coming in?
I think it's a surprise to you that it's coming in. Because blocks certainly didn't. It's a thing that like most droids could do if they had built-in internal comm systems, and blocks did. But you know, is it a call for help? Who knows? It certainly looks that way.
Yeah. Well, I know what it looks like. I mean, it's possible that blocks. He did connect to the ship. I remember that. So, but that he never connected to my helmet, and I don't think droids usually have the capability to hack clone armor, because that would kind of not make a lot of sense if they could just overload.
It wouldn't really be hacking so much as given that he had access to your comm system before as well, and you've got a comm system, and I imagine the clone armor is having like that little sort of video gamey
that hot
sensor,
device,
you know?
Yeah. Okay. So I will tell you that I've got a beat on blocks. I think it's him. Not sure where it's coming from. It might just come from him, but it could also, well, to quote the Mon Cala, it's a trap. It could be a trap. Still, that's what we're here for, right? To get blocks out and maybe talk Hamid Morg into not following the dark side, or if that doesn't help, shoot him in the face. And I don't think it will help, but you know. Anyway,
well, we are imagining it like in framing terms, you know, we have you going through these tunnels connecting to this ancient transit system that's within, you know, sealed tunnels made out of like some ancient transparent steel, you know,
we have
components.
A speeder bike or a speeder thingy.
I do have a pretty slick speeder.
Do you think we should use that? I mean, I don't want for you to lose your precious, lovely speeder tags. I know how fond of it you are, but might help us traverse these tunnels a little bit quicker.
Let's go. Come on, everybody hop in. Last ride.
3DO, do you take the trophy from your conquest? Do you leave Afghar? Are you finished with Afghar the Bloody, do you think, for now? Or...
I fully expect him to show up again, but
yeah.
I think, yeah, take his helmet.
Yeah. I mean, I was mainly wondering if 3DO was like, no, I've got business to finish. You know what I mean? I'm sure he'll show up again. Just wanted to leave the window for you to say that, like, he's still out there. I'm going to take him down, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as I'm studying his helmet, stow that in the ship.
Nice. Okay. So, Hella, do you have any input here on the situation? Otherwise, I think we're moving towards, I think, making a plan and just pushing through, right? Like with the speeder and traversing the way through the city, essentially. But
yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay then. Well, who proposed using the speeder again?
Quake suggested it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I suggested it. I asked.
Okay. Well, Dan, you're very good at this because it's plus cool. You are
Oh, wow.
supported by resources and people. You're not making it on accurate current information. There's no dissent and there's no significant opposition either. So it is a +1 on top of your call.
Okay, cool. See how that goes. Come on, guys. Oh, it's an 8, so not a great roll, but yeah.
It's an 8. Well, you are
Yeah.
working your way, through these transit tunnels towards the signal. It's taking you deeper and deeper within to this thing. You see all of the ancient, artifacts of a lost Camino and situation. As you get deeper into the city, the signs of the modern Caminos and the Republic sort of expeditions get fainter and fainter until you get to sort of like, areas that are just lit by sort of what was supposed to be just temporary lighting, but has just stood here for, decades now. And you get through and, the speed is, there's like pools of water everywhere, but you come through to what looks like an almost entirely like half submerged section of this tunnel. Luckily, the speeders are able to go over the top of the water, so you can skim across without having to swim, but like now where these were quite big, large ceilings before, now you're sort of like up against the top of, like it's not very high above you and there's pools beneath you. And that is, of course, when something leaps out of the water alongside, like, like pods of dolphin, like kind of jumping up out of the water alongside. Something seems to be keeping pace with the speeder as you move through this particular tunnel. And Quake would recognize the splash as a spiked finned sounder.
Oh, one of these guys. They taste not too bad.
And that's what he says as one of them then suddenly flits out of the water horizontally and slams straight into Quake. And
Okay.
yeah, so you on your
You usually don't do that.
yeah, and yeah, his massive mouth closes around Quake's armor, and all of you are now basically, being attacked by a swarm of spike fin sounders, which are usually, not particularly aggressive towards like technology and things, but they are coming in hard.
Oh wow.
If you luckily it's not quite penetrated through your armor, Quake, so you don't take any harm from it just smacking into you, but you are now Hella, one of them is leaping, as you see Quake go down, you snap back and you see another one coming straight at you. What do you do?
Before I go down, can I just flip it like it's jumping at me and I roll with it and throw it over my head into the other side of the speeder?
Roll to take them out. Take them down.
Okay. That's what I want to do. please. I don't want to be just bitten.
Well, it was just a temporarily, like, you know, barking, like a guard dog barking at you for the next scene where you get to fire it off. But yeah, let's have you do something cool and not be deterred for a second.
It's a 10, so yeah.
Cool. You forgo the minor inconvenience of being underneath a thrashing spike fin sounder, and instead look like a badass protagonist.
Thank you. I will force them where I want them. So
yes,
that's
cool. Hella, what do you do?
Yeah, I think this whole thing has Hella a bit spooked. I think she just tries to like block it with her hand for as long as she can to pull out the blaster and shoot it.
Cool. Yeah. You pushing it back and you whipping out your gun. That'll take them down again.
Yeah, that's tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 9.
That's exchange harm. So you're going to take 2 harm from that armor counts, and it's going to take your blaster pistol damage, which is enough to kill this one. It goes through and the whole body just deflates because they basically like they sort of like fill themselves up with air. Like sort of like give them more buoyancy. And you fire through and it's just like a as it blows out of one side. Big flapping kind of what they called like balloon style thing. Bladders, air bladders go through. And 3DO, 2 of them leap out towards you, the droid. They're going to try and push. It's going to try and like barrel you straight off the side of the.
I would like to use not my blaster. I take it all that sort of temp damage as
the temporarily disabled stuff's gone.
Yeah. So yeah, I would like to use my inbuilt sort of multi-system. So that's the energy blast.
Mm-hmm.
2 harm close. Let's see what we get.
And it is forceful, I believe, isn't it, or something like that?
Oh yeah, it is. But I actually can miss. Even
5.
with plus.
That's 5.
5. If somebody could assist somehow.
Tags?
Yeah, I can
You're
assist.
flying the thing.
I'm flying the thing. That seems like the perfect opportunity to set
it's not got a huge range, so if you can sort of position me a bit better, it may help.
I will try to reorient where the speeder is so that 3DO doesn't fall on his metal butt. So, what do you think? Does it feel?
That's a plus cool, I think. And you get +1 because you're using the piloting.
And I don't have the -1 anymore because
you don't.
Choking. Oh, that's a
nice.
very, very, very good aid with 11.
Nice. So, you get an exchange harm.
Yep.
And they're going to do 2 harm to you, but thanks to Tag's piloting, they don't push you off instead like they were going to. They just latch onto you and bite. I think they sort of shove you, and you plunge down into the water, right? And then Tags goes, "Hold on!" And then he like slams around, and then suddenly dives the speeder like skimming, like plunging briefly under the water for just a split second, and there's like a sort of splash up again as they just tip you up on the bonnet of the on the hood of the speeder now, as you have these 2 sounders like locked onto your arms. But you do the 2 harm to them, and then you blow them off, slamming them, scattering her against the wall. Quake. That just leaves the one that you're wrestling, that you flipped onto the other side, and it sort of like skitters around on the back seat, and then like lunges towards you.
Why do these things do that? They don't use. They're usually friendly. I don't care. I guess I get to shoot it, right? And pull my blaster and well, take it down, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or could I try to intimidate it? I could, right?
You could try to intimidate it.
Yeah, I will do that.
I mean,
then.
in PBTA games, you're always allowed to say a fictional thing, and we'll see what happens when you do it, right?
Yeah. Because I don't really want to kill this poor thing. They're not usually that aggressive. Maybe I can explain to make it see reason. I mean, I've got a blaster. I can shoot across its fins and yell at it a little, so it will leave us alone.
Yeah.
And what do I roll with that?
Sadly,
manipulate someone?
Sadly, in this case, you try that, and this is all stuff that did work. You know, you remember driving off hostile, aggressive ones. You know, in the past, they were quite skittish, but this one just comes at you with a single-minded determination. That you fire that blaster bolt across its belly, and you scar its fins, and you know that would the gills, and it's really super sensitive there. But something in those eyes, you know, and of course, it being Star Wars, there's no need for subtlety. You know, it's the little blinking, like sort of biomechanical implant that's embedded above its ear.
Can I shoot that off?
Well, you can do now that it's after it's now slammed into you again.
Okay, or then I can just rip it off.
Yeah. So now it's now I think it'd be a takes them down, but due to that lack of action, you know, like that first sort of misstep kind of thing, it's, you know, whatever harm it deals on you next will bypass your armor because it's kind of like.
Yeah. Okay, but I will try to rip off the.
Yeah.
I'll try. Oh, what's it? 8. So.
Yeah, mixed. So it does 2 harm to you, which bypasses your armor, but you do rip it off.
Okay.
And as soon as you rip it off, it sort of twitches, and then it immediately is just trying desperately to get away from you. You know, like it is just a wild creature that has no interest in being here whatsoever.
I'll throw it off. I'll help it along into the water.
1 foot underneath its belly and push it up into the air where it sort of glides away like whimpering off as it goes. Yeah, like.
All right. I'll keep this bio thing that I took off it though. Maybe throw it at Hela so she maybe. You know what?
Can I see that?
Yeah. Because if that's what they're using to control these beasties, and they have more of them, maybe you can hack into this, slice into it, and overload it.
It looks very familiar, Hela.
Oh, Kark. Yeah, maybe. I recognize this. Let me see what I can do. And she'll sort of hunker down in the back of the speeder and start tinkering with this thing while we're moving along, and we'll see what I can come up with.
Okay. You know, that attack over, you get to the end of the tunnel, it starts to rise up again a bit, and then it plunges down, and you can see like there are seals that were once across the door. You know, you recognize the symbols of the Jedi Order quake. This can't have been touched since the Clone Wars, from the looks of things. It looks like the Jedi who were working here, you know, what intended to come back at some point, but never got the opportunity.
Yeah.
And you enter the great library of Kalsnake. Sadly not in a piece of Star Wars fiction that has any images attached to it. But yeah, I'm always gutted when that happens because I'm usually like, if someone was mentioned, I can find somebody on DeviantArt who has painted it at some point, you know. Yeah. So the Library of Cal Snake was a Jedi sage, a Deltat who, during the Great Sith War, he hid artifacts that were retrieved from Ossus before here. What it's down in the books for is that there was a sea crystal holocron. It's kind of like a repository for a lot of aquatic cultures and stuff, but it has deeper knowledge within. It's the exact kind of holocron that your friend stole from Pandit Morg back in the day. But it is rumored to have things from more ancient times as well. Rich, what does it look like? You know, what does this library, you know, like what's the sort of equivalent of shelves in this library, you know, like the stacks kind of thing?
Right. And we're going with it being physical books, not data pads,
I mean,
right?
what I'm saying is it can be whatever you want it to be, a mix of anything. You know, I'm just saying that like, I'm going to go around and I'd ask each of you to sort of paint a detail about this space, you know?
I think that the aesthetics are trying to indicate that it is a library, but that a lot of the data is kept on these data crystals. So there are shelves, but within the shelves are these almost mobiles or little chandelier looking things that hold all the different data crystals so they catch the light and reflect in different ways.
Ooh, like a coral type thing?
Yeah,
you know,
I like that. Yeah, that's really cool.
Like different sort of, I like that a lot. Yeah. I think the thing to remember with the Kaminoans is that they're not an aquatic species. They are a species that adapted to an aquatic world, essentially.
That's true.
So, yeah. And then, Paul, what here shows the signs of the previous expeditions that have come down? Like what remains?
I think let's have some massive banners, you know, hanging down from the roof. You know, they clearly thought they'd captured this place. So yeah, some sort of house insignia type banners, lots of them.
Sort of like a Republic kind of like university and things being like, you know, like here is the find of the Republic kind of thing, the archaeological discovery of whatever, like a kind of proud thing, all tattered and sort of dusty and worn, stretching out across the whole thing. And Anders, why, you know, why is it that not the entirety of the library is not accessible? You know, like what is it that means that, like, you know, there was more work to be done here, more excavations, that kind of thing?
I think with the since this is built to be underwater, there are like it's sectioned with this big like pressure doors, and some of them have been triggered because there's been some flooding, and they're locked, and some of them I think have been forced open so that there's like a small gap you could get through, but some of them are still completely closed.
I like that because like there's a tendency, and I do it all the time, of like imagining Star Wars spaces and being like, well, they've got all this technology, you could just blow open anything or work your way through, right? But then the conceit of a lot of Star Wars architecture and stuff is that, like, well, yeah, I know it was a door built, but it'll take them forever or whatever, right? Like play Knights of the Old Republic and you're mostly running around like doors that no one's had a key for 1,000 years. Even though you've got a lightsaber, you can't just cut through it. you know, like, yeah, you can only do those things when the plot allows you to do those things.
But only against particular species can you cut open their doors.
Yeah, some doors are lightsaber proof, others are not. Yeah. And then Quake. What signs do you see of that Pandit Morg and Block have been through here?
Oh, I think, well, Pandit Morg was never the soul type, right? So I think we see some rather recent cuts in places with what was clearly a lightsaber thingy. And they don't even make that much sense, right? It's just basically somebody swinging the lightsaber because they can.
It's like a Kylo Ren's been through here.
No, it's not like this angry, like, oh, I've got to attack. It's more like, I've got a lightsaber. I'm going to demolish this library because this is useless to me because it's just knowledge. It's basically the barbarian in the library. It's
Jack Nicholson in as the Joker, spray painting at the art galleries he goes through, right? Like,
yes, that is precisely the
listening to Space Prince as he goes.
That is what he's doing. Yeah, Space Prince. I love that. And nice. I think what we see that Blocks was here. I think. And maybe he lost his fedora.
Oh, his fedora. You know what? Maybe one of the things slashed in half by a lightsaber.
Yes.
That fedora.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Okay. Now, I've got to just one of the things that, well, I tell you what, there are different routes out of here. You are in the library, you know, he's somewhere down in this sort of complex of rooms and things like that. What's the approach, guys? And I'm gonna go to tags first for that.
What's the question again?
There are, you know, they are somewhere within this sort of like library complex within. So what's your approach here? And this is open table. I just, you know, I'm only prompting to you first because, you know, otherwise you have moments of silence where no one wants to go first and say things.
Exactly. No, I'm glad you prompted to me. I'm into it. I was just trying to make sure I'm answering the right question. I imagine that Tags has double checking to make sure that the weapon I'm about to give her, she has on her sheet. I think she has a riot gun. Yeah, she has a riot gun. She's holding it like a blaster carbine, but with both hands, and she's creeping forward. But I imagine that we're going to fan out a little bit. Maybe there are a couple of different angles that we can take.
Can I say what I'm going to do? Because this might help inform what the others want to do. Because what Quake would like to do is just stand there and shout, "Come at me." And then the others can maybe lie in ambush or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool with everybody?
Yeah.
Because I think that's and I have the training lightsaber, right, that I got from the False Jedi. So I feel kind of weird about it, but I will ignite it, stand around and say, "Pandit Morg, you wanted me. I'm here.
And
let's talk."
There's a sort of a shin-high level water across this room, right? Like, and just dripping, like, you're coming down across all, because it's like none of the things here can really be damaged by the water in this area. And you know, just a voice comes like from seemingly everywhere in the room and says, "You stole from me. I had to go looking for other things."
You're on the wrong path, my friend here. The dark side is not what you think it is. It doesn't make you safe. It just locks you in an endless cycle of fear and hate. Look at what happened to the most powerful Sith in generations. Thrown down a shaft after 20 years. Could have been He could have lived longer and happier. So could you.
Palpatine. He petty tyrant, building new weapons when the old ways were always here. And thanks to your friend, I found them. And you see that the ping of blocks comes down this tunnel to the left, and a lightsaber crackles in the tunnel to the right.
Nice. So you're not willing to turn off the dark side. Just checking here. I don't want to take you down without giving you the chance.
It's more than the other Jedi got from your kind.
It wasn't my choice.
We all have a choice.
Then make yours.
Okay. 3DO. Hella, what do you do when, well, so we have blocks comes up the corridor from the left, he walks in, and 3DO, you see this huge like labor droid that's big and chunky and has these huge like robotic arms. It similar to you, it wears like you know, biological clothing, like a different you know, what's your trench coat like?
My trench coat's synth leather.
Synth leather.
Synth leather, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, synth leather in brown, you know, duster style.
Yeah, and blocks is this like, it's tattered, it's been slashed up, it's been worked on, it's like, you know, it's been peppered with blaster bolts, and you can see damage across him, but it is this sort of like shiny like plasticky kind of substance, you know, like future sort of Star Trek-y kind of like version of a trench coat that's been absolutely shredded. And you can see that little blinking biotech implant on his thing, and he stumbles towards and then boom, crashes his fists together.
I'm gonna well, I'd like to use hide in plain sight. So clearly you can crash his fists together, but he hasn't noticed me because I'm sort of just tucked into the wall, hiding in, you know, near enough powered down. Yeah, because
Okay.
it sort of links in with what Quake was saying. Quake's going to stand still, and it's you know, we want to form a trap.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't we say that there are broken droids dotted around? You know, the library was maintained by a droid library keepers, and they are all like lost power centuries, millennia ago, and like they dot around here, and you're going to try and take a position among these statues, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good move because there's no roll.
There's no roll. You can appear to be off. No one pays any special attention to you, which means that Blocks is going to come storming towards Hela instead. And I think that is the point as well where Pandit Morg, you know, that whole thing about choice. So I'm going to just rewind a bit where he's talking about that, and he says that, like, you know, the power of the dark side is the power to take that away and to make it for others. And he steps out down the corridor and he holds out an artifact that he found deep within the library that is smooth, like from an ancient civilization. It's older than even the Sith relics are, but it still shines brightly. And all of you feel something uneasy as it comes out. And he lifts it and he points it towards you, Quake, and he says, "Let's see if this works better than the chip did." And I'd like you to roll the move that is on Rich's thing. We're just going to modify it slightly. Rashkin's Blade. Because this is a Rakatan, sorry, artifact. The Rakatan Empire ruled its slaves with devices that were able to inspire fear and anger in their populations, swaying them with the power of the dark side. And so he has found this tool thanks to Blocks' memory banks in here.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah. yeah, well, it goes 10. I've got a 10.
It goes 10. You fight it off. Cool.
Yeah.
So just that wave attacks you, and you stagger strong, and he says, and then, well, what do you do as you see him now that he's stepped forward into the light?
I think I'll stagger as he uses this thing, but I keep my mind to myself. And what I will do is I will go down a little with the stagger, right? And then I will jump into a forward roll. My knees are not going like this, but and then try to attack him with this lightsaber. And jumping around with the lightsabers, hardly dangerous, but sometimes you got it.
Well, let's see. You take him out as Blocks comes storming towards the rest of your party.
Okay. I will. See how that goes. It's a 12. Yeah. Don't like this
Nice.
guy.
Take them down. What do you do?
I think will exchange harm. Advanced. I can't just pick an advanced effect, right?
No, you need to have chosen the.
I need to have that.
I never actually got around to making the rule change where I was going to say you could just spend.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Because what I would like to do is disarm him, take off his. Does he have his lightsaber in his hand? Because.
No, he has. He's using the tool on you, but you can stop him from using the tool on other people in your group.
That is what I would like to do, to just scatter this, maybe take off his hand, because it's a lightsaber, right? It's
a training lightsaber. You can smack out you can like baseball bat style the orb out of his hands.
Okay, that's what I mean. This will still cause some damage, right?
Yeah.
Because it's training lightsaber or not, it's still a lightsaber.
Yeah. But
okay.
like you, he has armor, so.
Yeah.
Okay. But you do, send it flying off into the thing, and he curses with his stuff, and then that's when he pulls out his own lightsaber again, and zoom. And it probably clashes. You bring up yours in time to block it, right? There's a dramatic clash of things. Hella, what do you do as Blocks is coming towards straight at you?
I think I'm going to use one of my holds, and it's not. I mean, I am where I am, but I think I managed to reverse engineer that control bio-engineered control thing into something that can at least temporarily disable the one that he has.
Yeah, if you use tech, you can try that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, we have a whole move for jerry-rigging solution out of it.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, cool. Snake eyes, so that's a 3.
That's a 3. Well, you're fiddling with that thing as Blocks comes in.
It was working.
I think Blocks is just powering through these like frozen droids, and maybe like even one of the stacks of shells, right, just gets demolished as he just like smashes it aside, and he's coming through twice like a juggernaut. And he of course goes straight past 3DO. 3DO, would you like to try and protect Hella from this 2 harm that she's about to take?
Yeah, I do, but
if you'd rather take him out, then it's basically going to be that it's going to, fictionally speaking.
I will readjust my plan. There is no problem with that at all. So yeah, let's protect Hella diving out of this.
Yeah, I guess fictionally it's whether or not you intercept him before he plows into Hella, or if you take advantage of the the step just afterwards where he's already clipped her.
14.
Nice. So what choice do you take from the protection one, which is suffer little harm, deal harm, or all impending danger is focused on you, or you hold the enemy back?
I think take little harm because I do want to go on and do something. So I'll take some damage as you know. Clearly, it was designed. I'm sort of in its reach, so it can't really apply maximum force with these massive smashing hands that were coming towards Hela.
So what does it look?
My elbow.
So do you like tackle, or do you grab that arm maybe before he connects with Hela, and then there's like a
I
sort of war of the robots?
Yeah,
like...
it clearly puts my servos. You know, they're under a lot of pressure because he's monstrously strong.
Yeah.
As I suddenly think his body could be quite handy for my future plan.
I'm not sure Chet would be that okay with me doing that to his character. Yeah, I did check with him what was okay. And I was like, maybe not body hijacking him. Your character didn't die, but we did. He's now possessed by a different character. But yeah, I like it. Maybe that's definitely what goes through 3DO's admiring eyes, right? Like, this would be a great replacement body for myself. It would blend in with so many more situations.
Oh no.
Cool. Okay. So you don't take any. You'd only take 1 harm anyways. So your armor negates that. Tags, what are you doing?
Can you give me a quick what are the enemies we're facing? What's the position?
You're facing Blocks, who came in from the left.
Yeah.
And Pandit Morg and Quake are engaged in sort of like a duel, like just over on that side of the stacks.
Man, Quake would be so mad if I helped. So I can't get him involved in that. All right.
And this Ratakan sphere has gone flying off into the stacks, bouncing off somewhere.
Oh, I'll chase after the sphere. Yeah, there we go. I'll go.
I got it.
Sphere. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll take care of this one. So she'll dash after it, trying to.
Cool. You dash into the stacks.
Yeah.
And of course, you find the orb just floating, like bobbing around in a load of things in between two like sort of tipped over stacks that are sort of forming like a tunnel sort of thing here. And as you go in, you hear something drop in the water behind you, and you turn around and you see Athgar the Bloody. And beneath his helmet, he's just covered in bandages and you can see just terrible scars and burn marks and everything underneath poking out. And he looks badly wounded.
Didn't he lose his helmet?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's not got his helmet on anymore. Underneath it, it's all like Dengar used to be in Star Wars, like just completely mummified, basically, but worse, like a really manky and horrible looking Dengar.
Wow. You got all that from coming after us. Maybe you let this one go.
I let you go once before.
Yeah. Okay. And I think she's backing away. And I think this is the point where she's going to reach for the lightsaber that she's had hidden away in her pouch.
Nice.
This guy has Terraskazi. That is not all good.
You reach for the lightsaber.
I do.
It was fine when you turned it on earlier. There was no problems. Like it was, and you reach for it, and then this time, something seems to whisper out from the orb in one hand and the lightsaber, and there's a connection, and you hear a voice. You see a temple, a ziggurat, thousands and thousands of slaves lining up against a temple, a dark blade in your hand, and an empire at your feet. What do you do now? We roll for that die. You roll that move when you pick up Fraskan's blade.
Yep. Here we go. So I give roll plus cool.
Mm-hmm.
When you pick up the blade of Darth Raskin. Is it Rashkin or Raskin?
Raskin, I think.
Okay.
But
cool.
To be honest, I named him before we had Rakatans in the thing, and I would definitely have chosen a much different. I went to my uncle's the other day, and his kid is called Edie, and they named the dog Elsie. And I spent the whole weekend trying not to get those two names confused.
That is the worst. I would rename that dog in a hot minute.
Oh no, tags.
Yeah, I think she blacks out from the stress of fighting the dark side after suffering 3 harm AP as he assaults my mind.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that you've got it, right? That's gonna happen to you, but I'm gonna give you a 1 take them down roll with the lightsaber as well. Because you light up the lightsaber and it's working and it's great, and this is gonna happen. All that effect is gonna happen to you after this exchange, basically.
Okay, fair enough. First. Oh, of course I got a 10 on that one. Yeah.
Nice. Deal terrible harm?
Yeah, I think I'd like to deal terrible harm with a lightsaber. That'd be
So
nice.
how do you so he deals the stun baton to you, which is going to be 2 harm coming in at you, but 1 of them is negated by your armor.
Okay.
And yeah, I imagine that Tags is you ignite that lightsaber and he laughs, right? And he moves like a Terakasi master, right? And he's like taking me on in hand to hand. Like, how stupid can you be? And he just, toys with you, like hitting you and moving out of the way of the blade, and he smacks you across like the chest with the stun baton, sending you backwards. And then that pisses Tags off, right? And that's when we see the tell me how you kill Nathgar the Bloody with that lightsaber.
I think there's a flash in her eyes, her colored red reflection of the lightsaber, and she calls upon Raskin's power, and the two move as one and slice through the stun baton, and we see the lightsaber just slice across the shoulder, and the eyes of Askar the bloody widen as he realizes he's overestimated his strength with Terraskasi, and it just slices straight in, and yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for Tags.
And on Tags' hand as you hold that lightsaber and that sneer on your face, right? Like a black line of a Sith tattoo starts to etch itself upon your skin.
Oh,
then like Tags' eyes widen in horror, right? And you throw away, let go of the blade, but your hand locks still, and you just, there's like flashing visions now of the Sith Empire, of Jedi falling beneath you, of everything, and then a quick brief flash of Moff Arkham, like the hand reaching out towards it and going through the same exact experience as you, and that's when you take the 3 harm and you are overwhelmed by the visions of the dark side, and the lightsaber sputters out as it drops into the water and you collapse to your knees. The Sith tattoo half formed upon your arm, like caught midway through.
Yeah, that sucks. I like it.
And we cut back to Quake. Duel of the Fates playing.
Sorry, did I do what?
No, we just cut back to you and you fight with Rask with Pandit Morg.
Yeah. What I would like to do is I would like to take the lightsaber off and not precisely attack, but use the moves I know how to disarm a person before doing anything else.
Okay.
And what do I roll for that? Does that still take someone down?
Yeah, I think it's take someone down. But if you deal harm, then we won't say the lightsaber hits you.
Okay. I have a tiny wish. I want to use act under pressure one last time, because I have used it for 4 sessions. But not now. Now I want to attack Pandit more, obviously.
Okay.
So,
act under pressure then.
It's fine. I've just rolled the attack. It's a 10 again. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the opportunity to act under pressure soon, because you get in, you use the clone trooper moves, right? Like pin his arm and throw like toss that, like, you know, basically like force him, like as he swings the lightsaber, you catch his arm, bend his hand back, and his blade goes spinning out of his hands into the water as he snarls. And with rage, because Pandit Morv has the move, the dark side, where whenever he is injured or enraged, he can lash out with the power of the dark side.
Oh, wow.
And destroy something. And you know, as he's wrestling with you and he's snarling and he growls and his teeth flash, and then the room begins to shake as you look up, and you can see that he's like snarls down and brings down a portion of the roof, crashing down onto the pair of you, you know, forcing you apart kind of as it explodes out with water. And you can see that he has not managed to escape all of that harm from that, but you have rolled up just where his lightsaber is kind of like on top of a floating piece of debris, and you see him put out his hand to go and thing it, and now it's like a race between you and his force pull to see who can get that lightsaber. We're going to cut across to block, and we'll to 3DO, and we'll come back for you to, you know, because so 3DO, you're wrestling with blocks. What do you do?
Yeah, I'd like to sort of try and remove this bolt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't sound like exchange harm. Is it more sort of a tech thing?
I think it might be a use tech. Yeah. I think that he'll get a punch in on you just because you're not, you know, you're trying to do something, like it'll be a punch. He'll be awkwardly battering you with his hand while you try and do this kind of stuff. It'll be like two Terminators fighting each other, and one of them is trying to get the wiring panel on the other while the other one's trying to rip the other's arms off, you know.
Sounds fair to me. So I've got a tech of +1. Let's make that roll.
Snake, right?
I'm glad you can see it because it's just revolving on my screen.
Oh, right. I thought you were sighing because you weren't happy with the 8. I was like, it's a mixed success. It's not terrible.
No, I'm happy with the 8. Yeah, 8 doesn't matter, +1 or -1. Okay. So 8 good.
What's the glitch from your? I'm almost tempted to say this is a repair a damaged item, or add, remove, or alter a tag from a piece of gear, and the tag that you'd be removing would be controlled, I suppose, right? But what's the glitch?
Could we have it glitchy? So he's sort of got control of himself, but will revert back every now and then, if that's something that would interest you.
Yeah, let's call it a weakened effect. Yeah. So like the effect is that you have you've sort of disrupted his control, so he is you know, no longer like entirely like driven to murder you above all else, but like he can't resist the sort of commands of Pandit Morg entirely. So he's like slowed down, and he's you know, you hear him like that voice come back, Hella, and as he says, boom, smacks Studio in the face for 2 damage, and you just hear a voice, the voice you haven't heard for a while now, saying, I'm so sorry, doof, I really am, doof, did not intend this, doof, if you could please, doof, get this thing off me. So Hella, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think this is the slow motion montage where Hella was kind of knocked to the ground. She turns one way, and that's 3DO and blocks like punching and grappling, and she looks to the other side and she sees Quake fighting with Pandit Morg and the roof being torn down and everything, and then she looks the third way and she sees Tags fighting with Afghan the Bloody and the lightsaber, and then both of them like collapsing onto the floor. And I think she's going to race for Tags and see.
I think what you see from Tags is you just like, where's Tags? And then you just see like that zoom, and then like a and the sound and the red glow of the lightsaber off in the you know, flickering out, right? Cool, you're going to run after Tags, right? And as was suggested in the chat, you guys notice that the water levels start to begin to rise beyond that knee level as water pours in from the hole that Pandit Morg has ripped out there. Quake, yeah, the lightsaber, you know, moves in that way that it does on Hoth.
I'll
So
use
what do
the
you do?
training lightsaber to I'd use the training lightsaber and just split the other lightsaber into. It can move all at once. It just moves into the lightsaber and
You're going to try
destroys
and
itself.
knock it out of the air, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
So
grabbing it and dragging at it, that sounds foolish.
that's an act under pressure then.
Oh, nice. I like that. I will use my move and give myself a +1 on this.
Okay.
Because, yeah, that seems appropriate, maybe. Yeah, it's a 7, barely, but it's a good thing I could use the 1+1.
Okay. You destroy the you can hit that hit his lightsaber. As it comes towards you, you know, you clip it out of the air, and Pandit Morg growls behind you and says, wow. And then you look at growls, and then you turn to see him, like, you know, face him with your own trained lightsaber with a smile on your face, and then you look and you see that he's pulled your vibro blade off your side. He's holding it in his hand. The price to pay was the fact that, yeah, you took his lightsaber out, but while you were distracted with that, he just went.
Okay, fine. That is still a win, I think. It's better that he has a vibroblade than he has a lightsaber, because I have armor against the vibroblade, but not against the lightsaber. So.
And then he pulls out a pad. No, he pulls out like a comlink device, and he presses a button, and your helmet goes dark.
Great. Okay.
And he says, and you hear the voice over the comms, like as though the comms start to just blare out like the Imperial March or something, like at full volume. And just over the comms, he says, you know, the old protocols still worked.
I'll take off the helmet. They come off pretty easily. That's
yeah.
a good
I think
thing.
you know, like fictionally, the moment is of like down to the knees and clawing with the helmet, right? Like taking it off as running footsteps comes towards you.
I am moving while I'm doing this, because I don't know what he's doing. I'm rolling. I'm trying to take the helmet off. Just won't change anything in the fiction. In the mechanics, but just in the fiction.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, pushing your way, like blindly feeling it, like bouncing off one of these frozen statues as the vibroblade whips past you, right? Yeah. 3DO blocks is, you know, boom, hitting you. Sorry. I must apologize. Have you replaced me on that bright beauty? It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Blocks. What is your name? And what is your primary function, 3DO?
Assassin droid.
Oh, that could be useful. If I'm afraid.
Don't worry, Blocks. We'll get you fixed up, as I'm trying to like pull wires and so yeah, I'd like to do the same move again.
I think in this case it's an act under pressure to do it in time to stop him from with the last bit of the control ripping your skull off from your head.
Not a problem. Act under pressure uses cool, so +1. Let's see what we get.
Nice.
Excellent. It's brilliant. I can't even see it. You can say anything to me.
Yeah, it's 10. So what he's, you know, I think that Blocks is literally like telling you, well, if you look inside, and do you speak Boshi or binary? Ah, yes, then splice into this system here and take this. And
because I think my head is literally going whatever, sort of like shoulder to back to front, you know, as he's pounding me, sort of thing. But yeah, hands are working away at frantic speed to sort of reroute his power systems.
Yeah, and he's like, if you pull out my motivator, is located under the left panel of the night thing, and he's just going to guide you through, and you finally like slip in just as like one hand is like reached above you to try and punch down, and then he ceases up entirely, and he says, ah, excellent, you have disabled my primary motivator. Good work. Tell me, have you seen my hat anywhere?
I think it's by that door, and I'll point towards one of the sort of sealed doors. Yeah, and I think we could see his hat, just sort of floating in the water just by this sort of sealed door as the water level is rising more and more.
Yeah. Hella, you're over with Tags. Tags is unconscious. What do you do?
Tags. And she pulls out some, I assume
Why don't we,
kind of med pack or something and try to.
I'm thinking of this as maybe like a protect someone role, and you're protecting Tags from the rushing waters and the collapsing stacks as they come in. You're sort of like picking her up and taking her as you go.
I like that. That's tough, right? Yeah. Yeah. 12.
Nice. So you protect her and you suffer none of that. Well, you get an extra effect, don't you? And I think probably in this sense, suffer little harm probably makes the most sense. So you have got Tags out and free and out of here. Blocks is going to tell 3DO that if he brings him close to the door, he has a remote control like component that will allow him to unlock this sealed door and get you a way out of here. And meanwhile, we cut back over to Quake, and as you wrench that helmet off, but that is going to reduce your armor down to 1 for this purposes of this, because now he's got a way to strike at you. In fact, I think the very first thing that happens after you lift off that helmet is it just nicks, like the side of your face and like the very tip of it, and draws like a line across. And this time goes. So what now?
Well, now I think things are collapsing around here, right? So what I want to do is I want to push him under something that collapses on top of him.
Okay.
No, wait, no, I need to keep him distracted. I need to duel him basically, because otherwise he will throw stuff at me with the force, and I don't want that to happen. And I have this lightsaber thingy here. So
you want to take him out in a way that's sort of that
was the goal. And I am a bit sad because this didn't, I will tell him this doesn't have to go this way, but if you're not willing to see reason or the light, then I'll have to take you down. And I try to do that.
I keep trying to remember what she says to Boba Fett. I've killed someone who looks like you just a million times before. One more time won't be any harder.
We'll see about that. It's not what Quake says. Oh, it's an 8, so yeah.
It's an 8. And I should have said I'll spend my hold to reduce it, but that's only 1 hold anyways, isn't it? So it's pointless.
Yeah.
So
Use it when it's useful.
I wonder if there's maybe a more elegant way. I'm going to just make a note to maybe like look at that move and make it a bit less kind of like there's no point in me applying -1 to whatever. Anyways, sorry, just ambling around out loud again. Cool. So yeah, you hit him with that lightsaber, right? That's what you're hitting him with. He deals deals 2 harm to you with his with your own vibroblade, maybe like catching in across like where now that the helmet's off, there's like the joints in between your armor plates, and he digs into your shoulder as you smash him back. And you know what? Everything's he's gonna use that force power again. And as you hit him, and he wrenches out one of the big coral like reef stack shells things, and sends it flying at you. And again, it won't hit you, but it will just crash into another wall, and then another big burst of water will come out. And the deluge of water is going to just wash Pandit Morg and yourself like back away from each other. And he is now like washed back into the collapsing stacks as the whole building begins to come down. And yeah, Do you go after him, or do you turn around where you can see the others working on the door?
I think I will shoot him. I mean, I've still got a blaster. I don't have to be close to him. I don't have to.
Yeah, but
You can't parry it.
You can't get a shot on him while he's in this whole, like, he's back, basically he's like been going back through this waterfall, you know, so like it's going to be you can wildfire into it, but you can't hit him unless you go stalking after him.
Well, you know, at my heart, I'm a medic, and there's one of us is down. I'm not going after him. I'm going for attacks and the others, because that's who I am. I'm not this. I'm not a soldier primarily. I'm a medic. So
Nice. Okay.
I grab my helmet. So
you grab your you fish your helmet. You're running. I think the shot as you run past, like the helmet's just like drifting in the water. Then Quake's hand just scoops it out of frame and scoops it up, right? Like as you go past.
Yeah.
Over at the door, you know, blocks, Fredio, you can just lift up blocks, like, and like, I think it's like, yeah, maybe you kind of like have him like underneath your shoulders and you're sort of like squatted underneath him because he's cut, but you're smaller than he is. So it's like hunchbacked, kind of like stepping forward through the thing. And as he goes, he's like, you're very powerful for a droid your size.
Indeed I am, as you hear my servos straining. And I'd sort of like to pull in, it probably actually works a bit against me, really. Under the repair, as a droid, you can also run out of power if you overexert yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, as I'm sort of like straining to push him up to this sort of door control, you know, you can see my battery levels sort of massively going down.
I imagine it's like when someone puts their back out, you know, it's like, zzz, and then
it gets sort of lower and lower and lower.
Yeah,
act quickly, box. Act quickly.
But the door, you know, like opens up, and you've got your speeder sort of in there as well. Probably Hela and Tags are like Hela's drag Tags on board of it, right? And it's just in front of this big door. And I think it's really just a case of who's going to drive you. How are you going to get out of here fast as you pilot down and you're, you know, like the speeder there. As everything collapses behind you. Would the medic like to be a medic?
I've got a move for this.
Yeah.
I've got the evacuation move, like leave no one behind, and I would like to move that, to use that. That's cool. Okay. It's a 9.
It's a 9. You either get them out or suffer no harm.
I can either get them out or suffer no harm. I will get them out. Okay,
so I guess as everything's collapsing and all of that, you know, the speeder's racing, Tags is slumped on the back, mumbling things about the Sith and Raskin and the Empire, and you know, and Hela's going, Tags, we need to get you out of here. And then Quake, you know, like, hold on, kids, kind of like Han Solo jumps into the cockpit, and you know, 3DO and well, I imagine, well, because 3D, sorry, I forgot 3DO was a thing. So I think Quake doesn't just jump in. Quake must, I think part of that get out move is that who's the only one here who's strong enough to even slightly move 2 droids that have powered down, right? It's like Quake, like, carking clankers, so heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems appropriate.
Tips them into the back of the speeder, it goes down, and yeah, you can race up through the transit tunnel as this like flooding things, and like I think pressure doors are just slamming shut like one after the other, just behind you as you race out through the transit tunnel system, and you get up onto the surface. You see that the crew.
How much harm do I take?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. You take, I think I'm going to say you're going to take 1 harm for each of the people that you were trying to take off the ship. So it's going to be a whole 4 harm And I think that the way that forearm is going to do is that like that last pressure door, as it slams down, like you have to punch through it at the very end, you know?
Yeah, and I'm nearly dead then, but fine, it's good. I got them out. I think I'll collapse then a little, or just slump down.
So on the Bright Beauty on the way back, we have 2 droids like stripped and hanging from like different things, while Hela, the only one who really didn't take that much damage, is working on them. A very shaky tags flying the ship back, you know, pulling away from Camino, flashes of things, and then Quake just like lying in the back to tank, you know. And left behind on Camino in this sunken library now is the Rakatan things and Pandit Morg sealed away forever.
Could we have him doing a Star Trek 2 scene, sort of in his communicator, just as we fly off, go, Quake!
Quake! Yeah, why not? Yeah, definitely. And then hyperspace. Done? Does that sound good to people? Like, and we'll do a now, because I want to go through like payoffs, epilogues and stuff. So all of the other players can get 2 credits for finishing this job, this Pandit Morg job. Quake doesn't get any extra credits, I don't think, but you can use the back to tank and you can heal back up. And you know, it's the end of the finale, and I'm not going to run one again for a little while at least, so everyone can just reset the harm anyways. But we have the back to tank thing. But I guess as part of when I go to Sabine, I want to hear a back to tank flashback, because we haven't actually done that one, I don't think, yet either. So you know what, I'm going to start with Quake, because this is the end of Quake's payoff. We've already seen Quake's payoff in terms of the stuff, right? So Quake, what's your back to tank flashback, and what's next for Quake? And you can defer that if you want.
I will defer the what's next, but I can give you the back to tank flashback, because I think what's he seeing there is, I think it's sort of it's a sandy place. It's not Tatooine. The light is far more golden and gentle. It's not that hot, but there's no water anywhere inside. It's kind of nice. There are a few green growing things, and he's with his old mentor, Master Ela, and she's looking at him and said, well, see, I knew you weren't just a killer. And he says, well, I learned that from you. He says, yeah. Well done.
Nice.
And then they just sit and watch the sun and some birds and stuff like that.
But watch the trinary stars come up, right? Like the 3 stars on this planet, not the 2. It's one better than Tatooine. And yeah, nice. So 3DO. Would you like to make your payoff move? Would you like to spend your credits on investing further in your drive or your XP?
Yeah, I mean, I won't complete either of them with the money I've got.
No,
so,
but adding to your drive will boost your roll anyways.
Yeah. So what is it? 2 credits for 1, isn't it? Or is it 1 for 1, but only a maximum of 2?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So
1 for 1. I recommend just going up to 5. 5 and 6 have the same mechanical impact, so you can save a credit if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's. I'll dump something in.
Because it mechanically, with your payoff, you can change your body, which will allow you to carry over some things to a new droid body, where you can choose different tags for your droid. You know, you could build yourself a droid, I would say, depending on the role.
You choose different tags, but what about me?
Yeah, named yourself after a mechanic.
That's exactly what it turned out that I did.
Yeah, well, my sort of drive is quite linked with Tags's drive, really, because I was
because you were going to be the one last job, maybe. So
I was going to do that assassin. So yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy just to tie in with that, really, if that's what. Well,
I'll tell you what.
Final.
Spend your creds. We'll go to
final laugh towards the hut.
Let's go see Tags's thing on the Tags's drive and pay off, right? Because I think that sets up, unless Yeah, does that work? And then we can see what Hela does with his ship, and then we can see 3DO's thing, and then Quake for his last, because you three have got drives payoff things to do if you want. Quake has already done this. So yeah. Okay, so tags. How about tags? And does she keep that lightsaber?
I think. Let's not determine the lightsaber in case Hello wants to have a conversation about that. So it's oh shoot, what is that? Like
I'm going to say that I think that Tags is like, oh, thank God I left that behind. And then when she's back in a bunk, she pulls open a drawer.
Yeah,
there
that feels right. That feels right. Yeah, it was going to be Schrodinger's lightsaber, but we'll go with that instead. That sounds.
But it can still be Schrodinger's lightsaber in the sense of when you go back to look in the drawer, maybe it's not there. You know,
ooh,
like
weird,
love mysteriously moving thing. Yeah,
cool. So,
but what would you do in terms of
she opens the drawer, but we don't see what she sees.
Yeah,
just a red
exactly.
glow.
Yeah.
And
so your payoff.
Yeah, before payoff, I just would have mentioned one thing. That miss that jacked her up was a 5th XP, and I took a sensitive move.
Oh, nice.
Search your feelings. So you sift the currents of the forest, roll plus sharp. I know it won't have any impact whatsoever on the payoff move, but I just wanted to say that aloud.
I like it. Yeah.
She will
ever since you held the lightsaber, you've been seeing things in a different way.
It woke me up. I almost took telepathy, but I was like, that makes tags really too weird. So I'll just stick with that. Spending 1 cred to pay off a few more people before she makes her big payoff move to get out from under the Hutt cartel. And now I will be making the payoff move. Payoff move is down on row 185, way down on the moves. She has 5 checked drive track, which means she's rolling flat.
Okay.
And that is a 3.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. And on a 3-, you fail and make things worse for your whole team.
Oh my God.
All
of the characters must cross off 1 drive box representing time and resources wasted in the fallout from your failure.
Yeah. And what that means is you're not unchecking. It just means that of the 8, like the 8th one, you can never check it. Which sucks.
So it won't matter now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Unless you had all 8 filled in which case I guess you lose your last.
Yeah, I guess you do. Sorry. Wow, you did have all 8
which means that's really appropriate because it's the one who's attached to you the most, right? Is oh
God,
this failure.
I feel terrible. This is amazing.
Do you want to think about what that looks like? Because I almost want to ask Hela to roll the payoff to see how good the ship is. Do you know, like, what's the ship like? Because I'm like, so what? Because maybe I don't know. Yeah. So Hela, do you want to see what your building a ship of your own looks like in terms of the payoff?
Yeah. This
now,
actually
now
makes
you're at
things
a 7.
easier for me because I was thinking, oh, should I put in the extra? But there's one thing that confused me about the move because it says if you've checked more than 8, but there are only 8 boxes.
Yeah, I did look at that and I was like, yeah, I don't know.
It's a thing of basically, if you continue playing and your characters like every single, if you play 5 sessions and you put 2 cred in every single time, you could potentially go more than 8 and we just add more boxes.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, should I spend both my credits on this so I get +2? But now I don't need to worry about it. I'm just rolling with a +1, which is what I've been doing all day. I've been rolling +1, +1, +1, and I rolled snake
pretty well.
Guys,
well, no, you rolled terribly, actually, didn't you? Yeah.
Let's see if where this one lands. And
so let's see how good you.
4.
Oh, good God.
Oh my God.
So you don't have a ship. You try but fail, finding the goal just beyond your grasp. Describe what happened. So something's going to go terribly wrong with that ship and with Tags' club.
I think basically, I think that she's starting to realize that because she was trying to build this ship from scratch, right? She was buying parts, and she's starting to realize that she has too many parts that doesn't work together, and it's just too big of a job for her to do on her own. And now she's just sitting there in a rented dock with big piles of junk and half-finished pieces of this ship, and she just can't get it to fit together.
Oh, it's the frustration of thinking that you could build your own ship, right? Like out of all of these things, and then realizing that, like, okay, I like that. Tags, do you have any idea on like how your thing is going to completely blow up in your face?
I have a loose idea. I imagine, and we don't have many bad guy NPCs to turn this back. Oh, I do have an. Oh, hold on.
There's loads of bad guy NPCs
that are still alive that we haven't captured. Yeah. There we go. So Tags comes to meet with Jorgo, thinking this is the moment when I have enough leverage to get out from underneath Jorgo the Hutt and own the pebbles free and clear. And that's where we see the Kazimlik clan are there talking with Jorgo the Hutt and telling him, oh, you're letting some Twi'lek run her own club. And yeah, I think Jorgo laughs and says, no. She only thinks she's running the club. Oh, there you are. Tags looks around, and that's when someone stuns her from behind, and another person comes up and puts a collar around her neck. And
so Tags is now basically locked into working for the cartel as like an indentured servant.
Yeah, either that or she gets shipped off to Hutt space. But yeah, it's not good. They've called the marker.
Because I really like the idea of 3DO going to it. So I was wondering if maybe after you hear that, you go to 3DO and you get him to pull off that job on Jorgo to try and release, and then that's why you're then seized by the cartel and shipped off to Nal Hutta, right? Because 3DO. Does that sound good? Like,
yeah, I like that. So yeah,
3DO. How do you kill Jorgo the Hutt?
Well, he did say he wanted me on his side. So, yeah, I think I'd go to him and say, the job's complete, the group is disbanded. I'm now working for you, and sort of take a place at the side of his throne. And I'll make a thing of sort of handing over my weapons, because he clearly, he is a bit paranoid, as all Hutts are. But, secretly you just see the Cortex bomb sort of clicking down. I think, let's have that scene where they're all asleep, as Jabba and his whole sort of retinue are asleep, sort of in his palace room. And my lights just flicker on and the Cortex bomb counts down.
Yeah, that's going down.
Hopefully it goes off.
So let's see your payoff roll and see how it factors into this all.
So it's at +0, so it's straight dice.
And I guess this is about whether or not you manage to move yourself into a different body so that you can use this one as a like kamikaze weapon, basically.
Yeah. 7 to 9. You achieve your drive goal, but payoff costs you something. Describe your compromise you make. I think it's two things. I could either lose the sort of +1 tough, so it's a base body I've sort of returned to, or I quite like sort of, actually I've got no recollection of any of this. The sort of memory save that I had clearly is a bit corrupt. And sort of when I wake up, it's as if I don't know any of these people at all.
Corrupted memory banks. Yeah. Let's put it as corrupted memory banks, like corrupted short-term memory. Like
that's so harsh.
So
but
maybe
3DO, what about the time we spent together?
Because I like that a lot, and but I mean, I'd like to have the door open to be like, so I recognize you. Did I not kill you? Like or something, like
Yeah, that is way
yeah.
better. The like
Oh,
fuzzy
wow.
memories. Nice.
Okay, so this has been a real clustercock for everybody involved, apart from Quake, who managed to protect their Jedi friend and seemingly took down an evil dark Sith. Hela, I'm imagining, is like, fed up with this ship and not finding it, and goes to see Tags, and Tags is gone after the explosion in Jorgo's palace, and 3DO was down in the shops getting work done on his new body, and then he's gone too, and that just leaves Hela and Quake kind of left behind on the station. So Quake, what is your epilogue? What's next for Quake?
I wanted to do something for myself, go to
Yeah,
visit a
yeah.
nice gallery or museum, but no tax has been taken, and I'm on a bound, right?
But that
means
can be what you find out after you've gone, because there was a lot of time. This is what happened in the time afterwards. But it didn't happen like the day you got back.
Okay. So I went off and went to a nice place like Chandlerla, and started looking at art and stuff like that, and meeting up with a lover or two. Good times.
And if you go to Chandlerla, you're at a museum looking at some art when that kid from the Jedi thing is in there with a bunch of his fellow students, and he's like, arrest that man, he attacked me. It's just a sort of like, come on, kid, like he's a hero, don't you know? Like yeah, okay, so you have a nice holiday.
I will claim that it was some other clone.
Yeah, I get this all the time. Yeah,
all the time, right?
Nice.
Wasn't me. Yeah.
So nice. Quake has some nice R&R and then returns. Yeah. I like it. You know what? After all of this tragedy, I think we get to the final shot of the whole thing. As a montage of like stirring music and dramatic, heartfelt things. It starts to fade into the sort of like nice, sort of like slow. I can't even bring myself to say it. The actual word, jazz kind of thing of a nice bar that Quake is in. And then we just see as the sun sets on like a beach thing, and you're drinking a nice, like fruity, ridiculous drink, and it's just like, Quake got to finally, that old soldier got to relax for a nice little while, and then
beaches though, no beaches.
And we cut to a no beaches, so it's a lake maybe or something, like no beach, fancy thing. And you've got we turn to the Calypso version of the Star Wars tune as it goes on off into the thing. And that was Bounty of the Week. So thanks everyone for playing. I never expected everyone's payoffs to be so terrible and costly.
It is. I mean, that payoff move is harsh, man.
Yeah. If we got time to do quick stars and wishes could be in terms of like kinds of bounties that you'd like to see, because you know what I mean, like we've done a lot of different types of ones and it all kind of focuses around taking someone out, ultimate goal. So I'm just wondering if anyone has any things that like I would have liked to have done something like that as a story. But I'll just kick it off. My stars is for everybody on the crew, all the different things, all the costs that people brought onto themselves for doing things. Not always taking the most sensible option, calling out things like, if I can expend myself too hard, I run out of energy and I'm locked up, because I really like the idea of this like sleek assassin droid putting his back out, carrying a huge bulky droid. All the cinematic play, and the star for making all that kind of like payoff thing. Like I know it wasn't like described in a linear fashion, and we sort of, it was like mechanically kind of like, well, what do you want to do? Well, we'll slip across, blah blah blah. But I like that it all kind of like built a story of this sort of like bittersweet ending of what was a fairly successful bounty hunters run, but everyone's individual dramas kind of like caught up with them and complicated things. And yeah, Tags is in particular, and like Tags and 3DO having this murder plan together was great from the second it was suggested, I think. So that was good. And I don't have any wishes. So yeah, I'll start off with Rich from that end of the character key from where we're around.
You bet. I will start off with a wish that I took 3 moves that I never used really. Friends on the Force never paid off. Crew, we
You
never
used it
even
once, Friends on the
Eh.
Force, and it was a failure. So
Yeah,
that was
it's
how
like-
that was how Uncle was the one who sent it after you.
I guess it's more of a broad of, I think some of the scoundrel moves like you have to have a particularly shaped bounty of the week game. Bounty of the week is a travel all over the galaxy and take down bad guys, and I don't think that those moves, like the Crooked, wasn't built for that. And so it's just more.
I thought you would use the Friends on the Force when it came to the battle, with Raider, because when New Republic Force is there, and we'd kind of established that your friend on the Force was Kel Trazik.
Yeah, but we had that more like meta move of, so I didn't. You're right. I definitely could have negotiated there.
But what happened was that I think Quake used their meta move rather than you used your meta move. So we framed it in terms of like the Unbound, and there are overlapping things, but it's. I know what you mean, because that was why I was specifically. I think at the start you wanted the Friends on the Force to be like the Hook Cartel or something, and I think or somebody like that, and I was like, well, would it make more sense to be the New Republic, because it was easier for me to get the New Republic into scenes, and if we had a different team, you could have the Empire as your Friends on the Force.
Oh gosh, that would be wild. But it's just more observation of like there needs to be a certain shape to how things go for the scoundrel moves to play there. And I think if I had it to do over again, I definitely would have been taking moves from other playbooks to make it.
I think that ties into what if you choose those moves, then you need to come at it with the player also needs to come at it with the moves in mind, and like
this was
because that could
not
shape
a critique
it
of
no, I'm not saying it.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think it out in terms of changing the changing. If we were to change the moves, would there be well, how would you do it, kind of thing? But anyway, sorry, that's just me doing the stuff that we normally do on the Slack chat. I've just
true.
We talk like that too often for me to not skip over it quickly, so I'll skip over it quickly now. Sorry, Rich.
No, it's all good. I think last little bit is like, if Friends on the Force to me read more like people within this whole organization. I guess I always thought it as more close to a place.
Like it would be a Monster of the Week. Like yeah.
So those are my only real wishes. I was really happy in a sad way, a tragic way for the dice. So no wishes there. I will say that a lot of stars this session was intense. Star Will for starting us off with like the tropey monster thing with the kaiju. It felt very Star Wars to me. Star for using Camino, that made me so excited to have that. Those were great. The other and this was wish, or more like thought of a bounty of the week hunt that isn't a hunt, but more like starting from the hunt being done, and it's the transport of the quarry back to a place. I think that would be a really interesting
310 to Yuma style, like
pirate boarding, or trouble that happens on the way back. It's not about capturing the person, it's about getting them to where you get paid off. I think that could be really interesting. But yeah, stars were good. Paul, I love 3DO. You were such a badass. I can't believe Athgar Blaze survived your ferociousness. And Undis, I'm so sorry that Hela didn't get her cool ship. But you've got a cool ship. It's just, slightly, it's not quite as beautiful. It's like the slightly dinged up beauty, I think, now. So that's fine. You'll be fine. I'm really happy that Quake came out victorious. I like a successful Quake in our universe. So a lot of stars. It was fun. The bruised beauty is perfect. That's it. It can be nothing else. All right.
Speaking of Hela, Anders?
Yeah, stars to everyone. This was a really fun, action-packed session. I really loved 3DO's moment of going topside, just as Tags was trying to maneuver. I love the eels. I always like a good eel in the game. and Quake, like trying to talk down this obviously super evil Sith person. I really like that still trying to appeal to the positive side. I really like that. Just Hags going for the lightsaber. That was and that whole scene that was a lot of fun. Wishes. I don't know, nothing huge, I think. Sometimes it feels a bit weird when tech is substituting in. It's substituting for weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that makes it feels a little weird. I guess, like with
I
the
agree.
dark past, it feels like I'm rolling with tech, and tech doesn't really feel like it's connected to that. But it's fine. It's not a big deal.
It's definitely a thought I've had, because like I don't really like the sensitive having tech as their force powers.
Yeah.
I almost feel like we should add a new, like I like tech for some of these things a lot. I almost feel like we should have a weird stat and just add that on, repoint the moves to weird, and then build new substructures for tech. But I feel I felt the same.
It's a bigger overhaul though, I think, when we start doing that, you know. I just wanted to, I guess, just to say I agree with you.
Yeah, and it works great. Otherwise, there was some ideas for other bounties or hunts. I was thinking a bounty on a ship rather than a person, or generally stealing something.
A main reposition one, like a repossession job, rather than it repossess the ship and as a bonus, as a focus,
and kind of what Rich was talking about, like an escort mission. It's transport this person to this or that place rather than capture them, and that's where it ends. Could be interesting. Cool. That's it.
Cool. Thank you, Anders. Paul?
Huge stars all around, really cinematic. We had tags doing some awesome flying. I thought that scene where you got blown across the room, Hela, again, really cinematic, and Quake with the sort of the lightsaber battle. It's probably one of the most cinematic sort of games I've played in. In its title, it clearly suits it, but it was a joy to play so cinematically. None of the moves nobody did boring stuff. Everything was larger than life. It wasn't there's 2 damage. There was heads going all over the place, and I thought that added a hell of a lot. But it makes the session a lot more enjoyable than sort of just number crunching. Wishes, I'd like to see some sort of further adventures to recover tags, maybe, or something along those lines, and maybe about what you and Rich were talking about, unused moves. Well, just one person 1 week for the following thing. Just say to them, just one person, not everybody. What's the one move you really want to use next week? It's a bit of a ham-fisted method, but everyone gets a cut, or at least one go at saying, I really would like to see that move, and then you've got a whole week. You can probably structure a bounty around that, and maybe let that person, that's their bounty.
I try and leave.
It's a bit ham-fisted, but I think it would work well.
Yeah, I do have a separate doc where I put like random stuff that people could just ask, like could be interchangeable out for different people. But it'd be good to make that like an actual mechanical thing rather than be like trying to build it in. Make a wish kind of thing.
Yeah, and it would implicitly stop other people trampling on, maybe a quieter player. If you definitely say, next week is your hunt, what move do you want to see used, and run from there. Maybe for quieter players that would really help them.
Something about the openness of the Star Wars universe makes it better to have that kind of specificity, I think. Good idea. Sabine?
But really good. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Paul.
Also stars all around. This was a lovely session. Thank you for running with the whole thing, because that was basically my background bullshit that we had to deal with, but I love that everybody was on board for it, and I love that Will was on board for it as well. So yeah, thank you for that. Stars to all of you for a 3DO fight with blocks. That was nice. And Hella being Hella rolling so terribly. I was so sorry to see that. She was not doing well. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and her being thrown across the room and trying to repair the ship. There was some Star Trek level tech thing. We had that in Star Wars as well. And I love when Tax went for the lightsaber. That was great. I actually enjoyed that a lot. So yeah, it was a series finale, and I feel very sorry for all of you for missing your retirement moves. So wow, this went from totally bad to slightly less bad to almost okay, but yeah. Well, anyway, for the idea for other hunts I've had were a rescue mission that somebody mentioned in the chat, or maybe a bodyguarding mission that maybe track a little in with the escort, but it's kind of different. Yeah, and because bounty hunters are used for all kinds of things that you would use police or private detectives or stuff for, right? It's not just track down this person, it's just protect someone, rescue someone, get something from somewhere to someone.
Yeah.
But we still had a good run. This is not a critique. We had a good variety of things that we were doing.
Yeah, so. I was surprised that Lishbeck Fan got all the way to the end without anyone taking it. But every time you investigate that, you just rolled misses every single time, I think. So
oh, no.
I don't know what to tell you. Very little of what you actually got told was that accurate, I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, she was on there since the first time we played this, right?
It's the very first bounty of the week I ran, I think, with Lishbeck Fan. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
But yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, Star Wars version of the Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys. We've gone a little bit. Thank you very much for playing. I loved it. I don't know if I'll put up another series again for a while. I do think it runs really well over series. I probably will do it as like one shots from time to time. And I have an idea for like maybe a 2-shot one, which is like a prison break where you have lots of different bounties that are different values, and like maybe like use like clocks to kind of like say where in one location, where is somebody at each time, and then like, you know, have you like land and maybe have to split up to find them all. There'll be rival bounty, like kind of like have you to do the sort of the series conceit in a single session kind of thing. But wild. that sounds like a lot more work than I can do than I'm going to do for a little while. Maybe once I've run Against the Vampire Conspiracy, I'll get on that one. But yeah, if I do that, I was thinking I might send you all a message and say give you first dibs on the sign up for it, and then open it up to everybody else. So cool. Okay, thank you very much, guys. It's been wonderful. We can end the recording, please.
Thank you for running.
Okay.